0 to 60 can define a performance car, but it's the fastest 60 to 0 that's the aim of Tarok's brakes. From road cars to race cars, circuits, special stages, or the autostrada, nothing reduces speed like Tarok's brakes. Italy gave the world the art of Da Vinci and Michelangelo. Tarok's has given drivers the art of stopping. For more information and to acquire your own masterpiece, visit tarox.co.uk. Yes, it's me, Mark Stone, and this is the Backseat Driver Podcast. I'd like to welcome to the Backseat Driver Radio Show a young fellow from near Aberdeen, a young lad called Buchan. The one unusual thing about Lewis is he's a three-wheeler fan, and I mean a serious three-wheeler fan. And his social media exploits and YouTube channel have turned this fine young fellow from north of the border into a positive celebrity. Lewis, welcome to the Backseat Driver Radio Show.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me onto your show, Mark. Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
As I said, I picked up on you on Facebook thinking, who's this young lad with his passion for three-wheelers? Because when I was a lad, I mean, three-wheelers came about as it was better than a motorbike and sidecar, and it got bikers as such into a car without the hassle of various things. And then, of course, the government made a mess of it by introducing laws that meant they didn't have reverse gear. So they used to pop the bonnet, turn the engine round, and the engine didn't know which way it was going, so it used to reverse them out. Also, I can remember when you used to have to pop the bonnet on a little bond to kick-start the hands on the engine. But,
yeah.
Lewis, how did this passion for three-wheelers come about?
Well, it really started years ago when I was probably a little kid, and I used to watch Mr. Bean. And I always remember seeing this little blue Reliant supervan that was always tipped over on its side or bumped out of spaces, and I always had a passion since then to own a Reliant. To me, that was the Reliant Robin at the time, which I now know it is actually the supervan.
Yeah.
But finally, back in 2012, I got the chance to get a hold of one of these three-wheelers, and it was a Mark 1 850 Reliant Robin. And I was over the moon to achieve that, what I'd set out years ago.
And as you probably realise then, the Reliant Robin in many ways was like the final swan song of the three-wheelers. OK, there was the Rialto, which was a posh one again, but I mean, when you started with the Supervan and then the Reliant Robin, how many of them have you got?
Recently, I just went up to 7 number on these Reliants, which I believe could be increasing in the next year or so again.
So I conclude if somebody has one that they want rid of, it's a case of, it's that Lewis Buchan near Aberdeen, he'll have it.
Oh, it seems to be, yeah. I mean, I've had offers. Also, my last one came from Peterborough, so somehow I've been heard about down there and got the chance of this lovely Mark V Regal, and it's a real beauty.
I was going to say, from looking at your Facebook live feeds, etc., it looks like it's in need of a bit of restoration.
Yeah, you could. That'd be one way of saying it, yeah.
Because I watched one part where you opened the door, did something, and a lump fell off, and you thought, oh, well, that's that taken off then.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of that happens with them, surprisingly. I've seen funnily enough, when you mentioned doors, I took a Robin outside once. Forgot I'd taken out the little door latch that holds the door shut. The wind came through the newly opened out windows that I'd taken out, and it hit the back door and blew it clean off. So that was an interesting day.
I mean, the three-wheelers themselves have a very interesting history. I mean, have you studied them?
I've studied it quite when I first got into the Robins, I obviously delved into Reliant to find out what it all was about in this little company in Tamworth, and what actually they made and how they went on from the Robin onto the Rialtos and then back to the Robin name until they eventually stopped production.
And of course there was also the Bond as well.
Yeah, Yeah, the Bond Bug. That is one of my ones I'm hoping to add to the collection at some point.
But I mean, well before that, there were all the Bonds and the Reliants. I mean, they started life very, very, like, quite a good few years ago, didn't they?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I'm not sure who was the first one, but I know that after, I think Reliant started because the founder of Reliant used to be with Raleigh, and when they stopped their production, I think it was the Raleigh Safety 7, he moved and started his own company with Reliant and built I believe it's the Reliant Regent van, would have been one of the first ones.
Yeah. And of course, as time's gone on, I mean, the construction of them, by the looks of what you're restoring, has changed considerably from, shall we say, conventional construction into like the one-piece fiberglass. Oh,
definitely. I mean, that's what I've really realised with this latest one, being a 1959 Reliant Regal. It's the Mark V, so it was the first one that came with the boot, and I believe it was the first four-seater version. And you just... working on it compared to the later ones is totally different because the timber framings around the doors, a lot of timber been used in the construction of them actually, and just the body comes off, and I believe it's two halves.
Right.
So it actually splits at the top of the windscreen, which was quite unusual when removing it.
Yeah. So in many ways, the construction of the early ones was, shall we say, more along the lines of what you would call a classic British car. I mean, I personally own a Morgan, and that's got a timber frame.
Yeah, I would say so. There were more... Well, I think the timber frame came about because the early ones were aluminium bodied, and then to reduce weight, they went into fiberglass.
Yeah.
And the aluminium was costing more, I believe, because of rationing after the war.
Yeah. So, I mean, when you're restoring them, I mean, looking at them is, like I said, there's the original... Some of them had, like, Anzani engines that, to start them, you opened the bonnet and kick-started the motorbike engine as if it was a motorbike.
I know the motor you're on about. The little Bond microcars had the Villiers engine under the bonnet.
Yeah,
I believe it was.
Yeah, and of course when the taxman twigged that motorbike and sidecar owners had got themselves a car, even though there was a wheel missing, they then introduced this. Well, just to make it so you can only drive it on a bike licence, we'll mesh off reverse gear. They made it that you could. You opened the bonnet, spun the engine round because the engine was sat over its driving wheel, and you drove the car backwards out of the wherever it was for the simple reason the engine didn't know whether it was going forwards or backwards, and the amount of lock you could put on, these cars would turn round in their own space.
Oh, definitely. That's one great thing about three-wheelers. They're so nimble, they can turn round no problem. And
so, I mean, which are the earliest three-wheelers? Are they the Bonds or what? Because, I mean, they seem to have been around for a long time.
I think the Bonds probably would have been on the go first, but I'd have to look that up because I haven't delved as far back as the beginning. I've looked into it slightly, and I know roughly when Reliant was starting, but Bond I haven't researched into as much.
Yeah. So, I mean, the other thing is, when you're, restoring them, how do you go on getting spare parts or bits and pieces for them?
Well, it started off with the first Robins. I was using eBay quite a lot just for finding the parts I needed, and it took quite a long time, obviously, sourcing the bits. But since then, I've come across, obviously, a guy down in, I think it's Wolverhampton direction, or Worcestershire, and he's got heaps of Reliant parts for all the different ranges of three-wheelers. There's another few garages at the other side of the country as well, all specialise in Reliant parts, and the best contacts to know, because anything that you need, you can usually phone them up, and if they don't have it, they know where you can get it.
Yeah. And it's a bit like the cross-section engines. What engines are you, looking at? I mean, we talked about, the Villiers engines and an Anzani in them. What sort of engines do they all have in them? Or does everyone have a different engine?
They had a variety of engines over the years. The early ones, like the Mark V I've got, they've got a version of the Austin 7 engine. Reliant took it, modified it enough so that you couldn't buy parts from an Austin dealer, and went in the
Yeah.
And lovely little thing. But they went from that to, I believe it was a 600cc overhead valve unit, which was the first aluminium engine to be mass-produced. And it progressed from there to a 700, 750, and then the final version was the 850.
Yeah. So, who tended to make these engines, or were they still all based on the Austin 7?
The Austin 7 engine, I'm not entirely sure at the moment who built that from new. I believe Reliant probably took in, well, as far as I know, they took in the drawings for it and they built this engine to their standards. And then I believe the all aluminium engines was actually built by Reliant.
Yeah. And of course, every engine has to have a gearbox. So, are they a motorcycle gearbox, or is it shall we say, a car's gearbox or an Austin 7's gearbox?
It is actually a car gearbox. I'm not sure where they sourced it from, if it was their own creation, but it's just a rear-wheel drive gearbox. Very simple.
Right, just turn round to power the engine up the front then.
That's all it is. It's a really, really simple thing. Usually I've never had any problems with their gearboxes, so far anyway.
Yeah.
And brilliantly.
I mean, reliability-wise, from the sounds of it, a lot of these cars, when you get them, though the bodywork might require attention, the engines sound like they don't need as much attention.
Well, you'd think that, but surprisingly, I've actually had a couple of them that have came with seized engines, and I've had to leave them soaking with oil until they eventually free off. I learned the hard way with one that just oil doesn't just do the trick. When I got it free, put it in the car and realised it had stuck piston rings.
Oh, right.
And that was a little bit of I'll have to take it to bits again.
Which I get the feeling from your point of view is the joy of owning them is taking them in bits.
Oh, it is. It's great because you learn so much about the car. When you strip it down, you can go, oh, well, that's how that works. And it's great knowing how it goes together.
Yeah.
Because when something does go wrong, you can go, I know where that's come from. Or I know where it's going wrong.
So, I mean, the fiberglass bodies will be all right because, I mean, fiberglass is relatively easy to repair, etc. But when you're working on the metal bodies, the aluminium skinned ones, are there panels available for them, or have you had to learn how to do a bit of panel beating?
I'm not too sure about the aluminium ones. And funnily enough, that's the ones I haven't been able to find yet, because the aluminium bodies were only on the Mark 1 and Mark 2 Regals, and they are quite rare nowadays.
Yeah.
But fiberglass panels, surprisingly enough, you can't pick them up for the later cars still, as I've seen a complete front end for a Robin for sale that was new old stock from Reliant.
Yeah. So I conclude that was something you had to have.
Well, I did think about it, but I decided, I always like to repair what I've got, so I passed on that one for once.
Now, the one that's undergoing restoration at the moment, even though it, shall we say, without being rude, an initial glance would indicate it's what's called a basket case. But lo and behold, on your Facebook Live, you suddenly started it up and started driving it about.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, this car, I got this Regal back, I believe it was beginning of June time, and I had been told the last owner had it started, but he had been running it off a little fuel siphon tank. So first was get it all cleaned up, make sure it was going to run off its own tank, and yeah, it run brilliant. It even drove.
Yeah. Now, apart from the body panels and the engines, I mean, of course, you then have the endless joy of the interiors. I mean, they'll be quite simple as regards their instrumentation, because I don't think there was a lot of it. But
no, not a lot in them, really.
So, I mean, who make like the clocks, etc.? Can you still get them, or else do you have to restore the ones that are in them?
Usually you can get most of the parts from, I mean, it's Robins I've dealt with a lot of the time, and a lot of the gauges are Smith gauges.
Yeah.
So you can get them quite easily. But the Regals, I believe, they've got a half circle speedometer that was built just for them.
Right.
So getting bits for them is slightly trickier.
Yeah. So I conclude you've learnt the watchmaking skills by repairing gauges then?
Well, I've had a go at it, but not quite there yet. I've had a go at restoring a few Speedos that just need cleaned up and cleaning them out, repainting them, but the watchmaker side of it is a little bit trickier than what I've managed to master yet.
Now, I mean, when you've restored that motor, roughly, I mean, it's how long is this piece of string? Because, I mean, I have a very good friend who restores cars for a living. Roughly, how long does it take you to turn a Reliant Robin from, shall we say, getting your hands on it into one that you can drive about? Or drive about legally, not just dump down your driveway.
Well, I've got a great example for that one, because I'm nearing the end of a restoration of a 1970s super van just now.
Yeah.
And I started that in November, and it has been away at the painters a majority of that time, but I'm looking at a couple of weeks and that'll be ready to go on the road.
Right. So basically you've got quite a few on the go at one time.
Yeah, this is actually the busiest I've been for restoring Reliants at one point, because I've 2 super vans at the go as well as this Regal.
Yeah. And it's one of those things, when you've restored them, do you use them?
Oh, you have to. That's a must. I always say, if you're going to do them up, use them for what they were built for, and enjoy them.
So you don't do them up and sell them, you just build them up, and that's another one of Lewis's collection.
Well, it seems to be at the moment. I mean, that might change someday, but at the moment I just love the fact I can do them up and take them out and let people enjoy them.
Right. And I mean, one other that seems to fit, well, it appears periodically, but it doesn't seem to be moving forward very much. Yeah, you've got a Scammell Scarab, haven't you?
Yeah, I have. That's actually a Reliant that got me that one as well.
Oh.
But, it was because I restored my first Robin. The guy was as impressed with getting this Reliant all restored and repaired that he offered me the Scarab.
And what state is the Scarab in?
The Scarab now, it is completely restored. Unfortunately, it's had a slight mechanical fault a couple of months ago, where it decided the coolant wanted to rather live in the sump than in the radiator.
Yeah.
So it turned out to be just had a seal had failed in the engine. So I was very happy to come home today and find a great big box of bits, all for the Scammell here. So in the next, I would say, month or so, it should be back running again.
Now, I mean, one thing people may not remember, I remember them, once again I'm giving my age away here, the Scammell Scarab was not a family car, was it?
No, it wasn't. It was a little commercial lorry designed for narrow little streets to replace the horse and cart.
There were favourites with like British Rail and British Parcel Service and everything else, weren't they?
Yeah, British Rail was the main user of them. They actually spec'd a cheaper version of the Scarab just so the price came down slightly. As I've been told, when you look up a parts book, it will actually have British Rail parts listed in it.
Yeah.
To tell you this is how they went.
So if you worked for British Rail, you didn't get a seat in yours?
Well, I think you didn't get heaters. That was one thing you didn't get in them. But,
I mean, what powers a Scarab?
My Scarab's powered by a little Perkins 499 diesel, which is quite a rare motor in them.
Yeah.
Usually they were the Scammell's own petrol.
Yeah.
But I believe, I'm not sure if this was just Post Office decided they would have this for this one, because this is the only surviving Post Office Scarab left.
Oh, right.
And there's, as far as I know, the last one was, they tried to save, but a scrapper got to it before they could.
Now, I mean, being a little lorry, of course, it'll have a fifth wheel on the back of it, won't it?
It does. It has the very unique Scammell coupling.
Oh, right.
So that's the coupling that you just reverse up to your trailer, reverse T to hear the loud bang, and then drive off and your trailer's attached. And I've watched the videos of them doing this, and I always thought, it can't be like that, until I tried to hook up my own trailer and realised, you do just have to reverse back and listen for a loud bang.
So you actually have a trailer for it?
I've got 3 trailers for it, and 2 of them are the original Post Office ones it used.
Right. So, I mean, when you got it, did it come with its trailers, or else have you had to source those as well?
Well, funnily enough, it came with one of the trailers, which had been half restored. All the timber had been replaced inside it. And then, I think it was a few months later, the guy that owned the Scarab before that phoned me up and asked if I wanted to buy the other trailer off him. So, at that point, I says, oh, that could easy. And it's just growing since then, so I'm currently restoring that trailer as well in the spare time I have between the Reliants.
Yeah. So, I mean, that'll cause quite a bit of interest with its original, like, GPO and British Rail, etc. Have they shown any interest in it?
Oh, it has. I've been roughly to 2 shows with it since it was finished. And the first show I went to, I couldn't get away from the lorry all day. It was people and about all throughout the day. And I actually met a few of its old drivers saying they hadn't ever seen the lorry so clean.
Yeah, yeah.
And they said you're supposed to have mailbags all over the floor of it.
Well, I think that was the thing with things like that. Because they were a commercial vehicle and there were so many of them, I'm not saying they weren't well maintained. They were, because they had to work for the living. But in all other respects, people wouldn't really give them a second thought, would they?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I've heard plenty of stories about them in the post office at Aberdeen when they used this lorry. I've even heard one of them fell off the platform into the tracks at one point.
No.
But they were made to last. That's the thing. And this one, it's a pure survivor, lasting years in our yard. It was battered, rusty. Really, not something a lot of people would have probably saved.
Yeah. So, I mean, how did you go on restoring that?
Well, I put it to, because of what it is, I didn't want to tackle the metalwork myself. So I actually put it away to a body shop, which, unfortunately, the first time, they owned it, well, they had it for, I think it was about a year, and they just completely made a mess of it. So I had to take it away.
Right.
Then it went to another restorer who I still use, who did all the painting on the Reliants as well, and he took it on, was really into the Scammell, and rebuilt everything as it would have been brand new.
Right.
And when you look at this lorry now, you would just think it's came right out of Scammell.
Right. I mean, being post office, I mean, it might be a daft question. Is it bright red?
It is. It's bright red, but funnily enough, it doesn't have the crown on it.
Oh.
The lorry units had a little roundel on the door.
Yeah.
That had the fleet number and the post office it worked for.
Right.
And this one's got the original roundel but painted onto the door, so it's as it would have been when it worked for the post office in Aberdeen.
Yeah. So what exactly did it do? I conclude it ferried the mail from the railway station to the post office.
Yeah, that's all it did. It spent all its life going up and down a hill called Windmill Brae, and it's up and down this cobbled street, and barely a mile from the post office each day. So the Scammell's actually only done 40,000 miles, which seems low, but you think, if it's less than a mile between the station and the post office, that's about 40,000 trips it's done.
So what year is it? When was it built?
It's 1964. It's a B reg. I do love the reg number of it as well, because it's ALB, so I always say Alfred Lewis Buchan, which is just brilliant. But, a fantastic little motor. Yeah.
And to drive it, I mean, what licence do you need? Do you need a commercial licence, or does it qualify as a car, or what? Because, I mean, it is articulated.
Well, that's the thing. Funnily enough, with that Scarab, you got them in 2 sizes. You got a 3-ton and a 6-ton, and this is the 3-ton version.
Yeah.
So you can drive it on a car licence.
Right.
And you only need a car and trailer to use it as an Arctic unit.
Right, so it's a bit like a caravan in its own way, car and caravan.
Yeah, really it is. It's a big box caravan, you could call it.
Yeah. So, I mean, what? Not being funny, because it was only, well, I mean, this only ever did a mile in each direction. What do they go like? Or do they pull well?
Funnily enough, it pulls quite well. I've only had it short the trailer on short distances, but it's quite lively. They're quite low geared, so they don't go quite fast.
Yeah.
I think you get about 20-25 mile an hour when you're going down the road with them. joy of that is that you're never in a rush to get where you're going.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to drive something like that.
I suppose in its own way, if you modified a trailer, you could put a couple of Reliants on the back of it.
Well, I've been told that a few times. I should take a flatbed trailer and have 2 Reliants on it and take it all to the shows, but it's on my to-do list maybe someday. Like a nice flatbed.
So when you take it anywhere, I conclude, do you have it transported there or do you drive it there?
I actually drive it. I enjoy the run.
Yeah. Although you won't go that far, or else you'll have to set off extremely early.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I was very lucky last year. I got asked to come over to Raleigh. It's over Banco direction, which is 20 minutes from me roughly.
Yeah.
And I got my photo taken with an old Andrew Barclay steam locomotive called Monocore. So there's this lovely photo of the Scarab and the locomotive, and they both worked in Aberdeen around the same time, so it was just brilliant seeing them together.
Yeah. So, I mean, from the sounds of it, are you now making it a regular thing to be seen back around Aberdeen?
Oh, I would love to get it into Aberdeen to get a photo of it outside the old post office, but
yeah,
that was my plan this year until the engine decided it was wanting to play up a bit.
But it's still on the cards, is it that?
Oh, definitely. It's on my cards. I've taken the thing into Aberdeen because the old GPO building still stands.
Yeah.
And it would look brilliant having it sitting there.
I mean, have you had a word with like the post office and said, like, can I bring this and park it up?
Well, funnily enough, it's actually flats now, so
all right.
I'll just be parking it outside the flats, and I'm sure nobody will think anything of this when we're outside.
The comments will be, I know I've heard of some late postal deliveries, but this is beyond the joke.
Well, that's true. It's only 40 years too late.
So much for first class post in Aberdeen.
Well, it is quite out in the country.
I was going to say, it's quite a while since I was up in Aberdeen. I mean, the Granite City, it is a very nice place to be.
Oh, it is. It's some lovely buildings in it. When the sun's out, it's beautiful.
So, I mean, what is the three-wheeler you would like to own the most that you don't already own?
That's quite a tough one. Between the Bond Bug, I've been tempted, but because everyone likes the Bond Bug so much, I'm quite tempted to go for the underdog of that, which is really the Bond 875.
Right.
The Hillman Imp engine Bond.
Yeah.
Because they're totally different, and I think it would fit in brilliantly with the collection I've got.
Yeah. So, I mean, have you driven a Bug?
I've never had a shot of one. No, I've been told of one that's sitting up here, possibly for sale, but I've never had a shot of one yet.
I mean, if you look on YouTube, I mean, there's people who've put like Hayabusa engines in them.
Oh, I've seen them. To me, it's great seeing them do it, but I like the feel of driving what they were when they were new.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to admit though, if it's keeping people happy in them with this Hayabusa engines in them, then it's brilliant because you're getting people involved in these cars.
I mean, it's one of those things. One of the things I do a lot of, as my regular listeners know, I do a lot of live commentary at classic car shows. It's about 2 years now. A young lad arrived in my arena with a Bond Bug. It was absolutely pristine. He'd been doing a newspaper round from about 13, and when he'd saved up enough, he went and bought a Bond Bug in cardboard boxes. And his parents were horrified by this. What have you spent all your money on that for? And this lad, over the years, restored this car to absolute... It was better than showroom. What cheered him up was, it was down to me to award Car of the Show. And it was down to an Aston Martin or the Bond Bug. The guy with the Aston wasn't very pleased.
Well, I could imagine. It's great, though, to see these kind of cars winning that kind of things. Because it's great. They're a people's car, really.
Yeah.
And it was an affordable car for everyone of its time.
And the other thing was, the Aston Martin was what I call a checkbook restoration. The Bond Bug was this, 16, 17-year-old lad. he'd done it all himself. And you look at it and you think, that is an absolute credit to you. Fantastic thing to see. I mean, not being funny, I mean, what's the reaction to your family and neighbours with this 27-year-old lad near Aberdeen at being fixated with three-wheelers?
Well, you'd be quite surprised. I remember when I took home the first one that had been picked up with a demolition grabber before I got it. So the roof was all caved in and the front wheel was missing. And I remember it was sitting out on bricks outside the house, and I was told, what are you ever going to do with that? And I remember my grandfather for ages kept saying to me, what are you wanting that Robin for? It's not worth having. I've seen it, it's fallen to bits, you don't want it. I think I chased on for 6 months to get this car home, and eventually I think everyone couldn't believe the transformation from wreck to what it is now.
Yeah.
And I have had a few people walk in past and go, is that the same car? I goes, no, that's a different one. Because the super van I'm doing just now probably would take the award for being the worst conditioned Reliant I've ever taken on.
Yeah.
When I bought it, I actually watched it on eBay 3 or 4 times, and each time I looked at it and thought, I'm not buying that. That's total rubbish. And then I picked up a chassis local to me and I thought, oh, it's quite cheap now. I might buy that.
So basically, there isn't a Reliant three-wheeler out there that daunts Lewis Buchan.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I'll take anything on, really. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, there's not a Reliant wrecked enough that you can't restore.
And we can't finish off without talking about the famous Jeremy Clarkson Top Gear three-wheeler story.
Yes.
I mean, what was your reaction to that? Because a great friend of mine, Andy Jones, who lives in North Wales, who's become an absolutely dedicated follower of yours, for the simple reason he used to have Reliant three-wheelers. He even had the one that had I don't know whether it was Liverpool, the Man United footballers in.
I know the one, yeah.
Advertising hair products or something.
Yeah, I watched that advert quite a bit because I was always like, wow, it's on a Reliant on TV again. Because it's great seeing them on that, because it's a car you don't expect to see on TV. And then before that was obviously the Jeremy Clarkson one where he had a bit of fun with her.
He had a bit of fun. I mean, I had a lot of people say they're not that bad. They don't roll over that easily. They said if you provoke them badly, they will. But from what I can gather, that even if they do start, shall we say, getting a little bit loose on a corner, you can pull them back. They don't all automatically roll over.
Definitely, I agree with you there. I mean, believe it or not, I've actually done auto tests with my Reliants.
You're joking?
I've done auto tests with the Blue Robin 850, and it's the most fun I've ever had. What was even better was that the Reliant was one of the only cars during that day that didn't hit a cone.
Right.
But it did get on 2 wheels.
And what was the crowd's reaction to this?
The crowd's reaction, I've done it now, I think it's 2 or 3 times at the same event. In the first year, everyone was expecting it not to do well. There was a lot of laughing. And when this Reliant absolutely thrashed a Citroen, they just couldn't believe it. And I still to this day remember the owner coming up to me and going, you know, I'll never live this down, being beaten by a Reliant Robin. That just made my day.
You can imagine it though, in the pub of a night time over a pint. Wait, how did you go on today? I finished second. Oh, who beat you? Some bugger in a Reliant Robin.
Oh, I know. You could just imagine. I don't think you'd be able to say anything after that. But there was the following year where the auto test got a bit bigger, and they had this reverse into a garage kind of section, and it was a little more challenging.
Yeah.
And I just had it in my head. I thought, I want to try and win this with this Reliant. And I think the Reliant was second or third out of all the cars. There was about 8 or 10 of them entered in it. And I couldn't believe that this Reliant did so well. Although, I'll never forget the look on the 2 marshals' faces when they rolled up and lifted on 2 wheels and started going towards them.
I mean, the other thing is, it's for anything to do with any form of motorsport, they have to have like a bit of scrutineering and everything else. It'll be the only Reliant three-wheeler that's got motorsport credentials, won't it?
Well, that's the thing. It's always a lovely thing to go, well, this is a Reliant. It competed in motorsport. It's always a great laugh to do. I mean, it's the thing about it is it makes people smile, and that's the thing that you really want to do.
Yeah.
I mean, even driving them on the road, the amount of people that wave and smile, especially when you go out with a bright yellow Reliant Robin.
Yeah.
And that just gets attention forever it goes.
I mean, there's the old joke, what do you call a Reliant Robin with a football in the back? A whistle. But, I mean, I think it's probably the most famous three-wheeler, of course, is the famous Fools and Horses one, the Trotters Independent Trading.
Yeah, I would say that show really saved a lot of the supervans from being just binned and scrapped.
Yeah.
I mean, it got a big fan following, and everyone got on the bandwagon of, let's get into this and restore this as a replica to the Trotters van. And I always said, funnily enough, I would never do one. But
you have done.
That changed. I always said I would never do one, and I came to the point when I was deciding my paint I was going to do this first super van I got, and it went, I'll have to do a Trotters van. If I don't do it, I'll never hear the end of this.
Now, I was going to say, I think the original one, it's in a museum in Cumbria, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe it is, yeah. There's one, I believe, down in Bewley Motor Museum as well. I think they had quite a few in the show when they used them.
I was going to say, any vehicle that tends to appear in a show, there tends to be multiples of them. So, as I said, I know of one in Cumbria, but there'll probably be a few of them knocking about, won't there?
Oh, probably.
But, I mean, have you ever given any thought to the four-wheeled versions? Because, I mean, there's the Kittens, and of course, someone, I can't remember the name of them, or the make of them, but somebody did a Bond Bug conversion to four wheels, didn't they?
I believe there was. Yes, I do remember that. The Bond Bug, that was Reliant. I think that we're going to make the four-wheeled version, but it never got through production. It was during the stage for Reliant was not as successful as it had been previously, I believe.
Yeah.
But I have looked into that four-wheeled Reliance when you mentioned them, and I don't know if it's happening yet, but I have been hearing words of Reliant Fox quite local to me.
Right.
But, might be appearing here.
Right. May I conclude you'll regard four wheels as cheating, won't you?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. You have to buy an extra tyre for it.
And being a canny Scot, you all like the sounds of that one, will you?
Oh, that's the thing. I mean, free cross-ploys is enough for me.
Now, the question has to be asked. After the Reliant Robins and the three-wheelers, what comes next? What car, what else would you like to own?
Well, that's a tricky one. I mean, I'm really into my classics. I really love the British cars.
Yeah.
I would say I would like to stay in the fiberglass body range, so it could be a Lotus maybe.
Yeah.
Because the metalwork side, I'm not great with welding.
Yeah.
And I'm great at the fiberglass, so I think a Lotus would be a great addition at some point.
Yeah. You could always, I mean, there's always the Reliant Scimitar's. They were fabulous.
Well, that's the one. I do like them as well. They are really nice motors.
Nice 3-litre V6 up front, and they don't totter on corners.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I might have to think about one of them now.
But, I mean, it's absolutely great to talk to somebody who is so passionate about a car or a range of cars and makes of cars that in the day people regarded as a joke. And I mean, it's a bit like there's people absolutely fixated with things like Morris Marina vans. And
well, that's the thing. I mean, it is funny when you say that people regarded them as a joke back then, because it does remind me of when there's people at the shows up here that have spoken to others and says, oh, well, somebody has to like them. And you're going, it's the fact that I like them. I love the fact that I these Reliants because they're brilliant cars.
I was going to say, and I think one of the rarest classic cars going is the Marina, mainly because Top Gear kept dropping grand pianos on them.
Well, it could be. They have a nice habit of picking cars like that to just drop stuff on.
Yeah.
I have to admit, I quite enjoyed seeing an Allegro on there.
Yeah.
The newer version of Top Gear not long ago.
Yeah.
That was another one of the cars I've always quite liked for some reason.
Yeah. But I think the thing is now, people are starting to appreciate them because when they appear at classic car shows, the crowds that they get round them are incredible. It really annoys the guys with the Rolls Royces and the Astons and the high-end Jags that these cars that nobody technically liked when they were in production are now there fully restored. I did one show where a guy turned up with a Lauder Estate and won.
See, that's the things that you love to see, because that's the cars that should be winning, really. The ones that are underdogs, the ones that everyone knew and drove back in the day and has great memories of.
Yeah. I mean, there is the show, the Festival of the Unexceptional, and as a rule, the Triumph Acclaim tends to win, and nobody liked them.
No, well, I know what you mean. I think there was a time that British cars under the British Leyland marquee, they seemed to come about, and there were some weird and wonderful cars at that point, including always the one I remember is the Vanden Plas 1500 Allegro.
Oh, that one, yeah, an Allegro with a Rolls Royce grille.
That's the one. Funnily enough, my dad has actually an XJ6 Jag, 1976, and when you parked it next to the Vanden Plas Allegro, you used to look at it and go, kind of looks the same from a distance.
Well, the big boss of the Allegro over the XJ6 was the glove box lid used to close on the Allegros. You used to set off in an XJ6, and the first thing that happened is the glove box lid used to fly open. Well,
that's true. And then, of course, the other bonus of the Jag over the Allegro would be that your gear stick actually stayed up and didn't fall out the floor.
Lewis Buchan, it's been absolutely fantastic chatting to you. Thank you for taking the time. As I said, it's nice to speak to somebody who genuinely appreciates the cars that nobody used to appreciate and now love to see.
Well, I'm glad that you invited me on, Mark.
It's been an absolute pleasure. So, Lewis Buchan, all the way up there in sunny Scotland at Aberdeen, keeping the Reliant flag flying. Lewis, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Rarely beaten on price, never beaten on service. Whether it's cars, bikes or commercials, Hoddy Tyres are the best in the business. And when it comes to tyre expertise and advice to supplying the correct tyres for your vehicle's specific requirements, nobody comes close to David Lakin and the Hoddy Tyres team. So give them a call on 01200 613 192 or visit the website at hoddytyres.co.uk.